Good morning on this Monday morning after a long weekend. Wow. I'll tell you what, the Santa Claus rally, it's real and it's just continuing on. It's just absolutely amazing. Last week, incredible run to the upside. As a matter of fact, a huge run all the way up until the last maybe 8 or 10 minutes of the day. And then we saw both the NASDAQ and the Dow give back a little bit, but still, the Dow finished up the day 200 points to the upside. You look over at the NASDAQ, up about 130 points to the upside. You look at that final 8 minutes of trade, we actually had about 90 points come out of the Dow. We had about 40 points come out of the NASDAQ, but still a really, really nice close as you get into that holiday and everybody getting so excited and all that type of thing. And just an amazing Santa Claus rally. Well, it's continuing today, but before we get there, we had leadership coming from just about every single sector. As a matter of fact, I think all but one were participating to the upside. You had consumer discretionary, you had the industrials, you had the financials, you had the materials, you had technology, you had semiconductors. You get the rhythm. Everything was definitely participating and moving to the upside. You look at the 10-year, made a really nice 5-day run from, call it near 1.4 all the way up pressing on 1.5. So that was something. Then you look over at energy and you look at crude and you see crude going in about a week. It goes from $67 all the way to $73.40. So gives you a little bit of a sense of the growth and some of the push that we got to the upside. The exact opposite, the flip side of all of that, the volatility index, which actually a week or so ago was trading close to 26, and we finished out the week underneath 18. That gives you just sort of an idea of just the movement and the strength of what we were seeing in that market. So what was really driving some of this? Some of the big leadership that we got, Tesla certainly being up about 6%, was a huge participant in this move to the upside, but it was far more than just one individual stock. But then sprinkle in a little bit of Micron as well. That actually up about 5% or so, really giving the markets a really nice lift. The reopen trade was what was somewhat driving trade last week. Things have changed a little bit this week. We got different drivers, but you look at Wynn, you look at Las Vegas Sands, those all moving to the upside. And by the way, when you look at the Dow stocks and you look at individual names, especially in the industrial space, take a look at what Caterpillar was doing and 3M, throw in Dow, all of those very, very strong into the close this final week. The weakness that we did have in the market, well, some of those Chinese names, once again, JD, you look at PDD, some of those names were getting pulled to the downside. Matter of fact, JD was down about 6.5%. So volume, been light. We've been talking about that. That's not shocking. That actually is a lot closer to normal, but we've gotten somewhat spoiled with what we have been seeing in terms of a lot of these volumes. So about 35.8 million contracts, well off that 44 million pace that we had been on. But obviously the holiday shortened week and a lot of the travel and a lot of those issues. We'll talk about some of the travel issues, as a matter of fact. Tesla. Now, this one was interesting. That actually led the Dow. It had already 2 million contracts trading as we got into the final couple hours of the day. Did slow down a little bit, but did finish about 2.6 million contracts, 66% of those on the call side. Even more so when I looked over at Apple, and we traded about 1.6 million contracts there. You did have about a 70+%, call it 76% of the options trading there were coming from the call side. So we get into today. We've gotten past Christmas. We know about shopping. We have a lot more information than we had. Volumes, as I say, are starting to melt down, which all of that is actually getting us a little bit closer to normal. What's not normal is this huge spike that we've had recently in COVID. That is something that is a concern, but is it something that people are so concerned they're staying away from the markets and they're not buying? Absolutely not. Today, once again, started off the day, both the Dow and the NASDAQ up about 70 points. Last I looked, they both doubled that number already, but up about 140 for the Dow, about 140 for the NASDAQ. So a nice lift to the upside. We're also watching how the S&P has been moving. New highs, by the way, a nice solid move to the upside of about 30 points. Really, really strong. The participation has been there. Now, not everything is great. You look over at the airlines, a lot of weakness. We talked about the reopen trade last week, kind of triggering a lot of what we were seeing to the upside. Despite the fact that we had all those cancellations and some of the concerns and the cruise ships as well, we're seeing, because of this surge, some pressure. You're seeing a lot of pressure coming on those two particular industries right now. But look over at the volatility index. We didn't even really spike much. I mean, we priced in the weekend and all, and we closed underneath 18. Here we are at 1840. They did a pretty nice job of pricing in the weekend. And so that's something I think we really got to keep a close eye on. You look over at the 10-year, still holding near 1.5. You look over at crude, that's still trading somewhere north of 73 and holding on to that level. Technology, strong, strong, strong. Nearly 1%. Actually, it's already grown to 1.25%. You look over at the semiconductors, which started out about little over 1% to the upside, 1.8% move to the upside there as well. Consumer discretion and financials, industrials, all definitely lagging what we are seeing going on with the NASDAQ, but in positive territory. There's no doubt about that. So some of the names that are really sort of moving to the upside and pressing for sure. When you look at the semiconductor space, particularly look at AMD, nice huge move. KLAC 10 core. When you look at Applied Materials, throw in NVIDIA, seeing some option activity across a lot of different semiconductor names, as a matter of fact, today. Facebook having a very nice day once again. Tesla having a great day again, just adding. It got so pressured well underneath 1,000. Now we're back up above 1,100 just in a few days. Just an amazing turnaround for Tesla of late. Maybe some of the pressure from both Elon and maybe Cathie Wood sort of playing into that. The pressure of selling is gone. Now you're seeing these stocks start to move to the upside, or that particular stock with Tesla. So the FANG names definitely stand out for me. Seeing the strength out of the mega cap tech always is something that we like to keep a close eye on. You got Facebook, you got Amazon, you got Apple, you got Microsoft, all with a nice lift to the upside. We'll sprinkle in a little NVIDIA, which we already were talking about with the semiconductors. But there is that weakness. You look at Carnival Cruise, you look at Norwegian, you look at all of those different cruise ships. They're having an issue right now. Definitely a problem. Airlines as well, Delta and American and United, all a little bit of pressure on them. Las Vegas Sands, Wynn, a little bit of pressure on them. I know this will shock you, but the expensive clothes hanger, once again, down another 4% for Peloton. That's having a tough day. You got names like Zoom and Moderna, a little bit of pressure on some of those names as well. But obviously the move right now is to the upside. Got two unusuals for you, and suddenly it's turned into not just a halftime report for me today, but I'm doing the halftime and a double-double animal style, as we call it, doing the 5 o'clock show as well with Melissa Lee and the gang. So going to be a really busy day. Got to jump. We also got CCO. If you want to hear some of the streaming there on WCCO radio, that's always kind of fun doing that at 10 o'clock Central Time as well. So CrowdStrike, that's number one. Stock trading a little over 215. 215.60. We got a buyer of 2,000 of the December 31st. Obviously, that's this Friday, last expiration cycle of December. The December 31st, 220 calls. Looking for a little bit more movement to the upside, a little bit of a break to the upside. Those were going for about $2.15 up to a little over $3, $3.50, somewhere in that sort of area. So that one definitely stood out. That hit very, very, very early. On top of that, K-Web. We've got some great ones actually that I'll be doing on the halftime as well. I'm pretty excited about some of the names that started to flow just before we came on. So right now I'm going to stick with K-Web for my second one, Chinese Internet ETF. China names have definitely had some pressure on them, but we've had some ups and some downs, and we all know that. We've been talking about PDD and JD and Baidu and all these different names day in and day out, and some of the movements that we've had there. Well, now they're hoping for, or at least looking for, I shouldn't say hoping, looking for, because they're putting money on the table. Stock was trading, or the ETF, 38.90. You got a buyer of 5,000 of the January 44 calls. Those are going for 43 cents. I don't know why they're hedging these, but they're selling the 46 calls as well. I don't like that side of it, but I do like the fairly inexpensive opportunity to the upside and gets you out to January for a substantial move. We'll see if that's something that really can play out. Got a busy day. I hope you're having a great day of trading. Let's make this week, it's a full week, get back to that 5-day week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing you guys at the noon show today. Have a great day of trading.